Hello, everyone. I sing now, or do I? Yeah, I'm bad at singing.
Yeah. You want to try harmonizing?
Yeah, do it.
Hey, that was not bad.
Well, then now I'm gonna never stop singing because I'm Liberace
What
Jr.
monster did I create? It's Sean Patton.
And that's Caitlin Cook, the creator of Monsters.
Yes.
And this is one of, seriously, this guest I go back with. I met when I first moved to New York. He is, I know I say this a lot, how great, we only have great guests. That's a fact.
True. That's very true.
But this guy is one of the most innovative, one of the most creative, one of the most in-the-moment, magical, spinning comedians out there. Yannis Pappas.
Yannis Pappas. Yeah.
Co-host. He's great. He's a co-host of the History Hyenas podcast.
Yes. And just super fun to talk to. Like, he's just a riffer.
Yeah.
You know?
Grew up in Brooklyn. It's just a fucking
fun dude.
Fantastic guy to have in your court.
Yeah.
And also, and on your team too. In your court, on your team.
In your court, on your team.
And on your sideline.
Yes.
And in the basket.
And coaching you.
Coaching
plays.
well. But he's just a super funny guy and very insightful into life growing up in New York. He's seen it change 100 times.
Yeah. So he grew up in Park Slope. We talk a lot about that. And hats.
Yeah.
About hats.
Then they go hand in hand.
They do.
Or hand to head.
Yes.
You'll see.
Enjoy the episode and look him up. But also...
Also, he has a special on YouTube.
Oh.
And I know that sounds
that.
crazy, but yeah, like he just had Schultz produced a special they put on YouTube, and it's a crime because it should be on Netflix, but
now it's free. Everybody can access it.
And
I'm gonna go check it out.
Check it out. It's a brilliant special. I've watched it. I've seen him. It's just check it out.
Cool. So check that out, and then also, where are you going to be this week?
This week I will be at the Atlanta Punchline in Atlanta, Georgia.
Georgia.
Cool
and place.
I love going to Atlanta. Atlanta's one of my favorite cities to perform in. Even though I'm a New Orleans Saints fan, and technically I have to hate the Falcons, I still love the city of Atlanta.
Sports. I know nothing about them.
Where are you going to be this weekend?
I am going to be on Wednesday, so tomorrow. I will be at the Paper Crane Theater doing a show that is raising money for climate change. So all the proceeds are going to that, and we're doing stuff about climate change and scary things.
So you're raising money to help climate change?
No, to stop it.
I
should get my words right.
I just want everyone to know I didn't sign off on my co-host helping climate change. So
yeah. So I will be there. If you want to come support and you're in New York, come hang out. It'll be fun. Cool.
Yay.
All right. Bye.
Later. And
we're off.
And it's rolling. We don't do like a welcome to the.
No, we
do
do
that.
in post,
we just
so
roll
we're
right
just
in.
gonna
Right
jump
in. Yeah.
We should have jumped in
post.
earlier.
This feels a lot more natural than when we were talking and it wasn't recording.
Yeah.
I'm surprised how long you guys held the microphones for.
Yeah.
But I did think it was going to be a quick.
It went from a social gathering to work now.
Yes.
Now this is work.
Do you notice? Okay, as a comedian, when you're telling someone a bit or describing a bit to someone that you do you find your hand just naturally holding a fake mic in your hand?
No, I have not done that, but yeah.
Yeah.
Do you do that? You just grab
I
a fake
find
mic?
myself sometimes like straight up like going so far as to like move the mic stand. I'm like, no, I do this bit, and I just like I'm on stage. It's like,
oh
what
my
are you doing?
God.
That'd be funny if like every time I started talking about a bit, I just looked for a stool and just pulled it up.
Yeah.
Like,
I love if you could have like a cane or like a collapsible mic stand that you would just pull out of nowhere like a magician.
yeah.
And just and with no microphone.
Yeah. Just start leaning against
That
it.
would be a good prescription for comedians with their social anxiety. Just carry around a mic stand.
Yeah.
And like if you're having trouble at a party, just pull out the mic stand and just hold it.
Yeah.
Just for comfort and talk and just so you're on stage. So
Dude, you
everyone's
want-
watching your skit.
You want to hear about a real fucked up social experiment I did once?
Yeah.
Not really that fucked up at all. When I ran an open mic the first year I lived in New York, for like the first 6 months, I ran an open mic at the Village Lantern.
Yeah.
Because I got tricked into it. Because the person who ran it at the time.
Was this Aaron Haber that tricked you?
No, it was a comedian named Emily Epstein.
I remember her. Yeah.
She was like going out of town for some extended period, and I did this mic every week because it was one of the only good ones in town I remember back then. And she was like, hey, can you run this for a couple of weeks? And then she just never retrieved it from me. She came back in town, was like, I hear you're doing great, just run it for a while. And I was like, all right. But there was one night where something was wrong with the sound system. Something was wrong with the system, and no one there working knew how to fix it, so the mic just wasn't going to work, right? And and when people, it was one of those mics where people showed up, signed up, and then I posted the lineup. And they came back 5 minutes later, or not 5 minutes, I'm sorry, an hour later, and we did the show. Make sense, right?
Yeah.
So while people are signing up, I'm like, hey, by the way, the mic's not going to work. The mic's not working tonight. Just letting you know. By the way, something's wrong with the mic. Anyway, but in the time between then and when people started coming, we figured out how to make the mic work. But in my head, I was like, what if? So I just did. I was like, no, just don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, the mic's not working tonight, everyone. So whatever. It's a small room, the Village Landon. So like I went up first and just like projected, just did my opening set, and I just wanted to see how many people would still use the mic.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Everyone just grabbed it.
Everyone still used the mic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even knowing it wasn't working.
Especially how many people were in the audience?
I was like maybe 20 people total in that room, and 19 of them were other comedians.
Yeah, it's tough to do your like Def Jam set.
Oh, it is.
When you're at like an open mic, you just feel weird. It's safer to just lean up against the wall and just like, I'm just working this out, you know? Like, so anyway, it just feels good to like really get into it, like to Dane Cook your fucking set for 10 people.
And take the fucking safety away. That's the thing. I guarantee there's an open micer who might hear this and be like, fuck you, dude, for doing that. And it's like, fucking, they're all better comics because of it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Because like that's a conversation I get into that I hate, where like people shit on people when they do late night spets or do specials without a microphone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
It's
so
like, what is that
silly.
shit? I'm like, does it matter that much to you?
Yeah.
Is the microphone
It doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
what you find the funniest about this comedian?
Yeah, is the mic. Yeah.
You know, then you should go to Guitar Center, buddy.
Yeah.
You'd have
Yeah.
your mind blown by all those hilarious. Anyone can be a hilarious comedian by that rationale.
Yeah.
Like the mic.
When you did your first, you went out with one of them without a mic, right?
But every late night set, I've only done 2 late night sets. Never used the mic.
Never used the
because
mic.
here's why.
Yeah.
It's not on either.
Yeah.
They live mic you.
Yeah.
That's the live mic.
Right.
They can't give you a live mic in your hand because of the chance that you might turn your head
Yeah.
like that, like
Oh,
I
of
just
course,
did there.
yeah.
You might turn your head and something doesn't get picked up.
Right.
So they have to lav mic you.
Right.
The mic in your hand or you're holding
prop.
is a prop.
Yeah.
It's not on.
Sean Patton don't do no props.
Nah.
It's 100% genuine. Yes, you like this thing don't work? Fucking take it off.
Yeah.
This shirt was made in China? Fuck it. I want a genuine shirt.
I am my own prop.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gotta
I am
be,
a prop.
It's got to be 100% truthful.
I find that so weird because like people that don't normally speak into microphones for a living or whatever are also really weird with them. Like I do these music events called So Far Sounds, which are just like secret shows, and a bunch of people are there and they don't know what the lineup is, but it's musicians. And the
There's
people.
secret shows, by the way, in like backyards.
Oh yeah, backyards,
like,
closed down businesses. It's
Old
it's cool.
asylums
It's like
and shit. Yeah.
The comedy, like when they do those secret shows.
Yeah.
Secret
Yeah.
shows are fun.
They are fun.
It's super fun, but because it's a lot of it is run by volunteers, the people that host the events don't know how to use a microphone a lot of the time, and they'll talk next to it,
Yeah.
but close enough where it kind of picks up halfway.
Yeah.
And then also we've been going to a bunch of weddings where like people don't know how to speak into microphones. It's like no one knows how to use these things in a way that there isn't some weird anxiety around it.
Yeah, except for comedians and musicians,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
You'd be amazed.
Every night.
Yeah,
Every
yeah.
night. Yeah.
You're holding it too far. Or
Yeah.
We just know instinctually from experience.
Years.
Not instinct. Yeah, it's more experience. Just like
Yeah.
where it
Yeah.
needs to be.
I
I,
mean,
like the people that
yeah.
rest it on their chin. I find that really weird. I'm not going to do it now
Yeah.
because it's going to
Or
make
there's
a
some
poppy
there's
sound,
some
but-
you can sometimes tell how long someone's been doing comedy by how like some people hold microphones like rappers.
Oh yeah,
Where-
yeah,
where
yeah.
It's just like, what are you doing? Like your Bargatze used to do that.
Yeah, I used to hold it
Young-
right here.
young Nate was
Yeah,
like,
and
"Damn,
dude,
he
you
just had a
fucking-"
lot of things just obstructing his mouth, like dip here and like fucking holding
Oh,
his
yeah.
hat low, and then his hair bangs down.
Yeah. Nate,
Yeah,
Nate
this
wanted
much-
you to not look at his face at
Yeah,
all.
you can only see about this much of his face.
and it
like
was and it was glasses.
that was, and he had glasses covering.
Yeah,
Yeah,
glasses
covering
fucking
out, yeah.
dipping, hat low. Yeah, I couldn't hear him or anything.
Hi. Yeah, he talked loud.
funny.
His voice is real light and tender.
Yeah.
I still remember one night you, me, Bargatze, and Soder, back when Soder still drank.
Yeah.
I remember us going to a bar after a show at like Broadway. Something not a good show.
Oh no, I remember that night.
But we went and got like rip roaring till 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Like, and then you and Nate got into like a borderline shouting match about whether or not Jerry Seinfeld was the best.
I remember.
Comedian, right?
I remember.
I remember that. But what I remember, actually, Soda and I talked about this recently, how, like, by today's standard, what that yelling match would have, like, ruined so many people's night. And so many people would just have felt like, I don't know if the word would be triggered or offended or just aggressivized.
Yeah.
There'd be a new word made up.
Aggressivized.
I felt aggressivized.
Yeah.
Because you guys were like full volume. I just remember you going, look at me. I remember this. You going, look at me. Now tell me you think Jerry Seinfeld's the best comedian.
Yeah.
Because Nate
I
was
felt like he was lying,
man.
yeah.
And you're like, look at me. Look at me. And he did. He's like, what? Like, now say it. Now say it again. And Dan and I were just fucking dying. But you guys were like full on shouting.
Yeah.
And looking back, it's like, man, people would have gotten real weird now.
Yeah.
Now it feels like volume is becoming a thing.
Yeah.
Where like if you're too loud, people are like, your tone is.
I think even now, if we got into that fight, me and him, it might hurt our friendship. Because we're like polished adults now.
Yeah.
That was the era where
Like
our
10 years ago.
our jeans were too big, our glasses were like the ones we could afford.
Yeah.
We had all our dumb clothes on. We were like, how much do we have for one more beer? Kind of.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like whatever it was just such an imperfect life at that point.
We were pooling our money and just buying as much alcohol as you could and then sharing it.
Yeah, if you had like 3 beers, you're like, should I get a fourth? Because it's money, it's dollars that you needed. So that was just, those arguments felt like the least wrong thing about that night.
Should I get a fourth and then can I bum a fifth from one of these guys?
Yeah. I remember when taking a cab home, you're like, fuck, that's like $40.
Oh, yeah.
And then like,
Oh, yeah, dude.
you like didn't have $40.
That was a lot of like, well, I guess I'm taking the J.
Yeah.
So you grew up in Park Slope, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So we are.
You grew up on one of my favorite streets.
It's a beautiful street.
3rd Street?
3rd Street, between 8th and the Park. I think at one point it was considered one of the most beautiful blocks in the world.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. Still is.
Because of the wide sidewalks and
Yeah.
like those old limestones on the right side. Those are gorgeous. If you're walking down from the park on the right side, those like limestones, and then the other side is like brick townhouses that are all attached. And I lived on that side.
That shit is. But was it rough when you were growing up?
And that area was like, so Park Slope, the history of Park Slope is interesting. History of a lot of places in Brooklyn is interesting because Brooklyn was like a vacation. Initially, it was like when the world was smaller, Brooklyn was like where rich people went to vacation.
What?
Yeah, so when you go to like Fort Greene and you see all those big houses and shit and like Bed-Stuy and everything, those were like rich people's summer homes.
Rich people from Manhattan?
Rich people from Manhattan.
So it was like before things got
Yeah, they would
pushed.
summer in Brooklyn.
Before the Hamptons.
Yeah, before the Hamptons, like when it took longer to get places,
Yeah.
that was like, fuck, it's a long trip.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, the
so
Model
funny.
T can only go 22 miles an hour. Like, 22?
Yeah.
With a supercharged engine?
Yeah.
Gotta get out of the city.
So you see a lot of those in Park Slope, and then it became like super Irish, working class Irish. That's why like there's still a St. Patty's Day parade in Park Slope.
Right.
And then from like working class, then you had Puerto Ricans and blacks, but mostly Puerto Ricans that kind of moved in down from 6th Avenue down, and then working class Irish kind of from 6th Avenue up, and then the baby boomers came in, the first woke generation. Like all my friends' parents were like hippies, like the hippies that moved from other parts of Brooklyn or whatever, and then they moved to, like, it was like the first Williamsburg Park Slope.
Yeah.
Have you pointed out to wokesters, like, you see what you can be, you're going to become that, though.
Yeah,
see it,
it's
right?
You'll have a fuel-efficient sob for a little while.
Yeah.
And then it's just, you will just vote the other way at some point.
Maybe you won't yourself have 4 kids, but you'll adopt 6. You'll adopt 6.
Yeah.
You will still have too much.
By the way, one of my favorite jokes by anyone ever is Mike Racine's. He's like, oh, wait, our baby's not going to be Asian? Well, then how are they going to know we're heroes? When he says I'm going to adopt, he's like, we have to adopt Asian. How is everyone going to know we're not heroes?
That's funny.
Yeah.
Because even though you go to China and you're like, they're doing so much better than we are right now.
Yeah. So Park Slope was like the circumference of what was good was smaller. It was like between Union and 9th and 6th and Prospect Park West. And we were like just surrounded by fucking just danger.
Yeah.
And you just got plucked off a lot. It's just like being mugged 18 to 25 times.
Yeah.
It was normal.
In a year?
That was just in a year. That would be a normal thing.
Wow.
That sounds. It sounds like I'm exaggerating.
No.
But it's the truth.
Yeah.
Because also all people think that some people think that every mugging means you get stabbed, thrown on the ground, get shot,
Just get your hat taken.
Yeah,
or,
exactly.
Yeah.
Mugging a lot of times is that someone just runs up and
There was a period 80. If you had a hat, it was gonna get taken.
Dude,
you could not wear that. Eventually the hat would get taken.
You gave a seminar on this once.
Yeah.
Yannis used to have a show at Bar 4
Yeah.
in South Slope, which is one of the best, and he was host, and he's the only host who would do 20 minutes in between each comedian that was good.
Yeah.
And
I've heard about this show
Any
from multiple
comic
people.
who did well at that show,
Yeah.
you were a good comic. If you look
Yeah.
at the
That
comics
show's
who ripped
great.
that show, you look at them now, you're like, they're all huge, they're all funny, they're all
Yeah.
respected for everything. Because that show was just so fucking
No chumps.
It was
Yeah.
just like ruleless. It was lawless.
Yeah.
But you saw a guy. There was a guy. You remember this? There's a guy in the audience who you were like, you look exactly like this guy. I think it was like he took your hat more than one hat from you, and then you went off on this it was almost like you had drawn up a Venn diagram, but you just forgot it at home that day.
Yeah, I don't
just
remember that.
It was fucking hilarious. You were like, here's how you knew you were going to get your hat taken. Here's the kind of hats that were definitely going to get taken. Here's the kind you could have that you could hang on for at least a week or two before they got taken. Like you broke down. I remember then you started asking people in the crowd where they were from.
Yeah.
And it was like Cincinnati. You'd be like, Reds, you could probably keep a Reds hat for 2 or 3 weeks. And then someone eventually is going to get in front of you. You're like, Yankees gone immediately.
Yeah.
Fucking Dodgers gone quicker because they used to be here. You don't remember this?
I don't remember.
It was like you broke down almost every city's baseball team.
Yeah.
I think the one was like, you were like, Colorado Rockies and Arizona Diamondbacks. You can keep those hats forever.
Yeah.
Maybe Colorado Rockies goes quicker because people think people think it's a Chris Rock hat. Do you not remember this? Dude, this was so. It was like
That's funny.
me
Yeah.
and fucking Norman were dying because you were like you were going by city.
What a pure
I love
time.
that.
Was such a pure time.
That was so fucking funny. And you're right. And if I'm looking to steal a baseball hat and I see Arizona Diamondbacks, I'm like, let that guy go. They have another hat that says D-backs, not realizing how close that is to D-bags.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've gotten your hats taken.
Many times. Not just like almost like Bar 4 jokes. I couldn't remember. I couldn't tell you all the times I've had my hat stolen.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's
God, I
truly
wish I
not
was
an
there.
exaggeration that if you had a hat on during like the 80s, mid 80s to early 90s, if it was the coveted hat, it was gonna get taken. It's just so easy. It would just come right off your head. They would just take it right off your head.
Yeah.
It was just like the hats there was a definite. You would lose your hat. If you had a Nautica jacket on, I'd probably say 75% you were gonna lose that jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just was the era.
A Nautica jacket.
The Nautica
if you had a
jacket.
starter jacket, no, don't even leave the house.
Yeah, starter jackets were getting taken, and then Nautica got real hot. Those were getting taken. Then Polo was a big thing.
Yeah.
That they would just take it. There was just roving packs of kids.
Yeah.
Back then,
Yeah.
they would just like roll around in large numbers, and if you turned a corner, it was like luck. It was like fucking you turned a corner, and it used to happen all the time when you were by yourself. You just turn and you'd see town, and your heart would sink. Because it was
Something's
you're
going.
going to get something said. You might get smacked in the back of the head. If your hat was, you knew the hat was gone. If you had it on, it was a funeral procession for your hat that you just walked through, and it was the end of your hat. And if it was all you lost was your hat, you were like, that's fine.
Dude, yeah, I remember the first ever fitted baseball cap I ever fucking got was an Oakland A's hat. And I grew up in New Orleans. We didn't have a baseball team.
New Orleans,
yeah. And but I loved the Oakland A's hat, and I just remember playing baseball in a field with like 3 friends, just like throwing, and a guy rode up on his bike, no shirt. Like if I saw this dude now, I'd be like, oh, that's definitely someone coming to steal this hat.
Yeah.
But back when I was like 11, I think I was like, oh, look, just that guy with no shirt on,
Yeah.
on a bike with no shoes. And he rode up. He's like, man, that hat's awesome. Can I see it? And he put it on and was like, thanks, and rode away. So it was like, I didn't get beat up or nothing.
I've had a few of those muggings too. Yeah, those kind of friendly muggings.
Yeah.
Where they just take it. I remember I got my big wheel taken like that. It was like a real
big wheel?
Yeah, just like kind of like
Somebody stole. Was it another kid or was it like
another
adult?
kid. Another kid like asked me if he could, same thing. Like, hey, can I try that out? And he just took it. Like I didn't know. I was like, oh sure, I'm a friendly kid.
Yeah.
Then my watch, I remember just as we were talking, he just started taking it off my wrist as I was just frozen, scared, stiff in the park with my, you slowly starting to learn like, oh yeah, there's poorer kids around and they're angry and they want your stuff.
Yeah.
And so that was the beginning of learning that.
Did you have stuff stolen from you, Caitlin?
No.
You stole her heart, is what you did.
No, I think it happened less to little girls.
Wait,
but
did you steal people's shit?
Yes.
What if this is what we found out? Like, I used to steal plenty hats.
Hell yeah. No, I mean, I think LA was different though. And I think I've gotten more stuff stolen here in New York as an adult, probably.
Have you had stuff? You mean like in a bar or like you forgot something? Or
I've had my bike tires stolen a lot,
Yeah.
so I've learned to chain those up.
Yeah.
In Park Slope the first time it happened, which was shitty. I had my laptop stolen from a bar and then returned to me fully intact 3 months later. It was really weird.
That is strange.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Some crook had like
Some guy
stroke of
had
conscience?
stolen like 15 to 20 laptops and then randomly left the apartment he was living in, and his roommates like went in to like make sure his room was clean to like offer it up to people and found a bunch of laptops and like actually tried to return them to people.
Wow.
Wait,
Yeah.
how did they find that it was you?
I had stuck my journal in my laptop case by accident.
Oh, so they also read your journal and was like,
Probably.
she needs your laptop
Well,
back.
it's just a bunch of gibberish comedy notes and
Girl's
music
got all
lyrics.
her songs in here.
Yeah. Yes.
She needs it back. Fuck.
But yeah, but I love the the way that you guys were talking about that time, and like I've heard about your show at that place from so many other comics, and it's like the nostalgia of wanting to of muggings. Like I love that you look back on that with nostalgia.
Yeah, I don't celebrate it. Like when people ask about that era, like and they're like, "Fuck these hipsters." I love the difference now.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I mean, hipsters are a little annoying.
Yeah.
But like they are scientists with food. The restaurants are good. Everything's safer.
Yeah.
I'll take it any day.
Yeah.
I would prefer that if it goes back. Like I will just be. I'll leave. I'm leaving anyway. I'm moving out of here. But it's like
Where you going?
Westchester.
You are really?
Yeah. We're buying a house up there, and I got
sweet.
Yeah, but it was brutal. There's nothing to glorify about it.
Yeah.
It sucked. It was like my dad. I remember my dad had an Audi. You couldn't have. People used to put back in the. People would put signs in the car going, "We don't have a radio. It's already stolen," because they just didn't want to deal with the broken window. And like my dad had. I remember somebody stole a radio broad daylight while we were about to get into the car. So like my dad forgot something and he went inside. We all went inside. We left the door open. Someone stole the radio in the car while we were like getting whatever we needed to go to regroup and leave. And he came out and he was so mad. That's how good people were at stealing radios, by the way, at that time. He was so mad he hit the top of the car with his fist and broke his hand. Because it was like the 18th time his radio had been stolen.
Damn.
It was like you could not have a radio in your car.
My dad just used to leave the doors unlocked because he was like, I don't want to deal with a broken window. So he would just park it and leave it unlocked.
Really?
Yeah.
There you go. Well, I like the idea that in the car's notes, like, we don't have a radio. Already stolen. Also, we still owe a lot of money on this car in our house. So just do us a favor. Not to mention the marriage isn't going well. Like, seriously. This car is the last thing keeping us together. You might think you're doing us a favor. Maybe we're not supposed to be together.
Yeah.
But who are you to make that decision? Are you God?
Yeah.
Because if you are God, why the fuck am I in this situation?
Yeah.
Help me out here.
Just a long fucking note.
It's like, leave
I
this
mean,
guy alone.
Yeah, like,
I
this
would
guy's-
not steal from that car.
He's much worse off than we are.
I like how...
They just open the door and put something in the car. They're like, hey, man, here's fucking
Yeah.
10
Hey,
bucks.
guys,
Yeah.
let's put a
Yeah.
couple radios
Yeah.
Let's put this stolen radio in this guy's car.
in here. Put those pair of Nikes we stole.
Give that hat back.
You know what? Give this guy a Chicago White Sox.
Yeah.
Give a White Sox hat.
Yeah.
He'll keep that
It's
for
not
at
a
least a
Yankees
week.
hat, but
Yeah, it's worth a lot. It's worth more than
Wait,
CR.
what is this? 93? No, that's gonna go in 2 days. Give him the Cubs hat.
That's funny that I created like a stolen hat market. Yeah.
I can't believe you don't remember this.
I don't remember.
It was like one of those. We used to talk about this a lot. How at that show you would have these moments when you would host where it was almost like you plugged into this like divine writer's room.
Yeah, you would do it too, though. That's what those shows were. That's what I was saying was such a pure time. Because like you would see magical shit like that. You would see like the reason why people became comedians. You're like, wow. You'd see a lot of misses. You'd see a lot of travel down a lot of roads that didn't work. But when it did click, because it was just that freedom of low expectation where everyone's there free and like everyone's drinking, everyone's young, everyone's experimenting.
Right.
And then you realize, oh, I got to reconcile myself with the marketplace and punch this up and do a late night set and, fucking water it down. Where those stream of consciousness flows, like you would do those more than anyone too. You'd go and you'd be like, where the fuck did that come from?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, but I swear to God, dude, there were at least three to five times I remember you getting off stage, and it was always me and someone else. It was always Soder or Normand or Chris Laker.
Yeah.
And we were like, write that down.
Yeah.
And you were
I was like, absolutely. I'm
and
fucking
you're like,
got a
"I'm gonna
drink
do
in my
it."
elbow.
And
Yeah.
you're like, no, I did already.
Yeah.
We're like, you didn't already. Write it down right now. Like
Yeah.
there were like almost times where we felt like tutors.
Yeah.
We're like, Yannis, write that down and
Yeah.
subjugate. What
Yeah.
does that even mean? Subjugate. That's not the right word.
No.
Diagram those jokes.
Yeah.
But no, there was fucking that was one of these just like insane diatribes you went off on where we're like, holy shit.
Was
Yeah.
this before phones? When was
No,
this?
this was like 2011.
Oh, okay. So you could have
was-
been recording that, but no one was.
No, but it was kind of before iPhones.
Oh,
so it's
yeah,
like people
that's
had
true.
like
Yeah.
little fucking
Not everyone had
Yeah.
an iPhone.
Yeah.
I still had a BlackBerry. That's
Yeah.
true.
Okay.
Yeah.
So people had like they were detectives in noir films, like little
Yeah.
recording devices.
and it was before 2011.
Was it?
Yeah. I mean it was still going it was still going 2011,
So maybe
but
it
it
was
was
like 2010,
it ended
9?
2013. So started 2008. I did that show for 5 years. So it was
Damn.
2008.
Yeah, it might
9,
have been in
10.
the 9-10 range.
Yeah.
I remember I had a BlackBerry only because I later threw it at a tree after the Saints lost.
I like that you're saying that right now when your broken
Yeah,
phone
I
is
have
somewhere
a
over
bad,
there.
I have a bad. I've done bad things to phones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've done like I am the Ted Bundy of phones.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Like, I've done some fucked up shit to
You
phones.
take out your anger on those phones.
Yeah,
Such an expensive anger problem.
I will one day confess to the smashing of 25 to 30 phones.
That's such a odd, specific foible to have. It's like Sean's great, but be careful if the Saints lose around his phone.
Yeah.
Or if you have a phone, hide
Put
it.
it
He just likes to smash phones.
Look at this fucking guy right here. There you go.
That was this weekend.
That was a smash from this weekend. I gotta go get.
That is fucking hilarious.
I mean, we gotta take a picture of this and put it on.
We will.
You should do
We'll
a
put it on the
sketch like that.
Instagram.
That like you're just a pristine human being, but you will smash a fucking phone.
But you know what it is? It's because usually I get angry at the fucking world, and my phone is the gateway to the world. It's like all these emails of people I'm pissed at, all these numbers of people I don't give a fuck about, all this news, all this shit, and I'm like, man, fuck this, and the phone just becomes this symbol of all the fucking pain I'm in.
Yeah.
And I just smash it, and then I'm immediately like, and now $800 more bucks. Might as well just, you know what? I'm just gonna carry around $800.
Yeah, they're not
rolled up,
cheap anymore.
And the moment I
they're
get
not.
too angry to smash the phone, just instead throw that $800 at the ground.
Or we gotta have someone build you like a rubber phone that you can just fucking beat up all the time. It's like dogs. When dogs play with chew toys, it's basically a simulated kill.
Yeah.
That's what they're
Yeah.
doing. So we need a little phone with a squeak in it,
Yeah.
and you can just put it in your mouth and fucking
Yeah.
treat it.
Simulated Kill is a great band name.
That is a great
yeah.
band name,
Yeah.
Simulated Kill.
Or like great production company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Simulated Kill.
I love like raining on that because a lot of people just don't understand dogs that way, and I love telling them the people who don't know that that's what's going on. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
he's so cute. I'm like,
Yeah.
he's simulating a kill of a small animal right
Yeah.
When
now.
you're hearing that eat squeak
Yeah.
sound
Yeah.
toy, the
That's the
dog
death
is hearing
noise.
the
Yeah.
death rattle of the animal it's trying to kill. It's like it's still alive.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, when like there's like a baby and then you throw a chew toy and the dog's like 10 feet behind the baby. You're like, oh, look at Beavis. He's just having so much fun.
He's playing.
He thinks he's killing something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's murderer. It's
have
murder.
dogs? You
I
have-
have a dog. Yeah.
What do you have?
She's like mostly a lab, but she's a mutt, a rescue from the storm, Puerto Rico.
Is it great?
Love it. Dogs is one of my thing. That's one of the things I like.
Yeah, we're
it's
big
one of-
dog people.
Yeah, I think to survive this life without blowing your brains out, you need to find like 2 or 3 things you like, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I think one's not good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I think a lot of comedians blow their brains out. It's like they just haven't found their, like, you know, like
Yeah.
Bird gets in a helicopter, whatever the fuck he does.
Yeah.
Rogan punches a bag or whatever the fuck he
Yeah.
does. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know what Soder does. Soder dresses like he's
Plays a lot
in a
of
band
video
in
games.
Seattle.
A lot of video
Video games,
Yeah.
yeah. You know, Nate golfs, whatever.
Yeah.
And those people will survive.
Yeah.
They won't die. They won't kill themselves.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So you gotta. So I think dogs may be the thing that makes me so I don't I don't fucking blow my brains against like a computer screen.
Yeah.
Well, right next door to us right next door to the 5-word studio.
Yeah.
Is a dog training center.
It's called Bark Slope? No,
it's
Barks
called
and
Barks
Recs.
and Rec.
Barks
The
and
name
Rec.
makes me want to blow my brains out, but the dog.
Yes. The dogs are cute. We dog sit a lot, but I think we
Yeah.
want to get our own.
Yeah.
By the way, later generations, this generation should just apologize for all of the pun name businesses
Yes.
because everyone's just like, I'm so clever.
I
Yeah.
love it.
But 40 acres and a meal. That's the soul food themed Vietnamese restaurant.
Yeah.
That's well. I mean, you think, but there is a place on fucking Sunset Boulevard in Los Angeles. I've brought this up before. I'll bring it up again because I
Yeah.
fucking hate it so much. It's called 9021 Pho. Because the owners of the place are fucking morons, obviously, and they think pho is pronounced pho. So the 9021 Pho.
Right.
Ha ha ha! Get it?
Yeah.
It's like no, that's 9021 Pho. It doesn't. The pun doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Because you don't know how to pronounce the fucking Vietnamese dish you're serving.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fucking dweebs.
They are fucking morons.
Fucking. Well.
Put a pun in there for them. But back to dogs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When we were living with Soder in Edinburgh, he was talking about, he was just like wandering around being like, look at all these off-leash good boys. They're so good. And then one of the Scottish people told him, yeah, like we beat the shit out of our dogs though when they're being raised, of just like they harshly train them so that if they're off leash, like they never get that far away from their owner. And they're all off leash over there.
Yeah.
You don't have to do that.
No.
Yeah.
No. It's so
No.
sad.
It's a way to do it. But yeah, my dog, I walk my dog sometimes off leash. So I never hit it.
Yeah.
So yeah, you don't have to do
You
that.
don't have
Yeah.
to.
I hate thinking about how many dogs get fucked up because like people just take out their shit.
Oh, yeah,
Like
dude.
people are just losers in life and they just
Yeah.
take out their shit on the fucking animal. And that animal's bred to just do whatever you want, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's just brutal because
Yeah.
dogs, if without dogs, we would have no civilization. I mean, we kind of evolved together. They were the first thing that let us know like fucking saber-toothed tigers were coming. you
Right,
know?
right.
They enabled us to kind of sit and develop our neocortex and feel safe for
Yeah.
a second. And then when we started farming, they kept fucking animals away so we could grow our crops. Like
Right.
that, we wouldn't be here without them.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's
And
good.
like
And
I
that's
know,
why I don't eat horses.
Yeah.
Because like, what the fuck, man? They lugged us around for thousands of years, and now like you're gonna make them into a fucking steak.
Yeah.
You got to draw the line somewhere.
Yes.
Are there places that admit like this is
Oh
horse?
yeah, they eat fucking Germany. They have what
Yeah.
doesn't the Germans do?
Yeah.
Yeah, what don't they do? Like
Yeah.
what? Where won't they go? You know, they'll go anywhere.
Next, you're gonna tell me they poop on each other, then fuck. Like, they've been doing that for 50 years. Actually.
Yeah, that's one of the lightest things they do.
Just catch it up to that one.
Like, remember
Yeah.
the Joseph Fritzl when you found out about that?
Oh
and they're
my
like, he's in
God.
Germany. Like, of course he's in Germany.
course.
Of
Yeah.
course he's
Yeah.
German. Who else would do that? Who else would fucking rape his own daughter for 40 years in a basement and then, like, keep all 14 of their fucking inbred kids down there?
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Who else would do that?
Yeah, it's also like, yeah. Well, also wait, the fucking beating of the dog. Wait, oh yeah. Also, you see this a lot in L.A. And no offense, but like, I love when a dog is clearly used to fill the void that is their owner's personality.
Yeah.
And you see those people like at Uniqlo with the dog inside.
Yeah.
You know, or like at bars, or like I'm not saying everyone. I'm not saying that everyone who brings their dog to a bar is a boring piece of shit.
Right.
However, most boring pieces of shit bring their dogs to bars.
Yeah.
It just shakes down that way.
Right.
If they're a dog owner. And you
Right.
see that a lot where the people just show up with a dog.
Right.
And you're like, oh, this dog's cool. And then you talk to that person for 8 minutes and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
This dog. So you're talking about not only did they help us evolve from a primitive place, but sometimes they help you evolve in like political or like social situations because you can bring a dog out and make friends.
Yeah.
And
On the flip side, though, I will say I know a lot of people shit on like dogs and emotional support animals.
I'm
but,
all
like,
on board with that.
Oh, yes, dogs.
I'm on board with
help
that.
me deal with my anxiety. And
Yeah,
shit
no,
like
they're
that.
great for that. Yeah. The thing I would say the biggest mistake people make with dogs is just treating them like a human and not a dog.
Yes.
It's like, and by that I mean like a dog is a dog because it's bred to do some type of job for you.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, simulate it. You have
Yeah.
to simulate, even when you tell it to sit, when you tell it to stay, when you throw a ball, or you use it as a train to be an emotional supporter. If you use it, if the dog feels like it's doing a job for you, then it feels fulfilled.
Yeah.
So if it's like that's the biggest mistake people make. Is like they don't fucking treat it like a dog.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't want your dog always sitting on the couch with you or always in bed with you. It's like you gotta treat it like a fucking dog.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have it in your bed, that's fine, but then it needs structure someplace else. You gotta occupy it with simulated work because now we don't need them anymore, especially in fucking Brooklyn. You don't need them.
How do you do that with your dog?
Do it with fetch. You do it with like where's the ball, like a little hide and go seek
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Walks simulates the migration, so they follow you. So that's kind of like we're going somewhere. It's just that's all it takes.
Yeah.
That's all it takes is like because it's not just the physical you tire them out. You got to tire out their mind too.
Yeah.
So it's like so I'll throw the ball and then and every dog's different and the breeds are different. But it's like my dog likes to come back and then play a little tug of war. So it's like the reward for her bringing the ball back, which of course is probably a simulated dead animal to her, is like a little tug of war game that we just go and that's what she always runs back for that. And
Yeah.
and that's it. She loves it, and that's it.
And
Adorable.
And then I beat her. No. I bring her home. And you
so sad when
fucking
we
don't.
found-
You stay when I call you back. You
my God.
fucking cunt.
We were so sad when we found
Yeah,
that
he was
out.
pretty sad. I
Yeah.
throw my belt, and the dog brings back my belt, and I spank the shit out of it.
No.
You don't. That just shows that they like. I mean, you don't have to do it that way.
Yeah.
No.
We polish off a 12-year McKellen and then beat it with the bottle. And guess what? They stay put and they shite outside. They shite outside the dogs.
You know, it's funny. The
They
further we
also
get
do my
away,
taxes.
the further we get away from Scotland, the more I'm like, that is a pretty good accent. But then when
Oh,
we're
yeah.
there, it's terrible.
If you've been nowhere near Scotland for 3 to 7 years, my Scottish accent is beautiful.
yeah.
It just seems unnecessary to strain that much anymore.
Yeah.
Talk when they're going like you're like why
Why?
I can see the veins in your neck. Just there's an easier way to talk. We've figured it out.
Yeah.
It's just a calm kind of no accent thing.
You figure the good dogs would help them evolve
Yeah.
vocally.
Yeah.
It is strange because like I just would love to hear our accent through their ears
Yeah.
because you know what I mean. Like
Well, I have a theory. I have a joke about it, but it's a theory too. I believe it.
What?
I believe that like this is how we're such the best America. We're such a free place. Everyone shits in America, but then you go other places and you're like, this place is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can kind of
yeah.
escape
Yeah.
the trappings of culture here
Yeah.
and choose your own shit. Kind of,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like you don't have to be. You could try to be something that you want here.
Yeah.
So it's like, and you ever notice when like people from Scotland or Ireland or England or anywhere sing a song, they sound American.
Right.
They
Yeah,
lose
they
their
do.
accent.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like because we have the most soul and we speak English the way you're supposed to speak it. God damn it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so like it shows when they sing.
Yeah.
They don't sing like hello. You know.
Yeah.
It's like they sound fucking American because we're the
Hello
best.
from the other side.
Yeah. Hello, it's me. I was wondering after all these years. You're like, no, it sounds stupid. Their accents sound fucking silly.
That's-
USA.
That's funny. I fucking forgot who it was, but oh fuck, it was such a good theory. They had this theory that like the British keep the accent because it's amusing to even them.
That's hilarious.
Like
That's very true,
Even
I
two
think.
British ears, when they hear the accent, they're like, but that's amusing and whimsical.
Yeah.
We should all keep doing this for centuries and centuries. Who had that theory?
That's funny.
Oh, it was me. That's right. It was mine.
It was-
you fucking.
I came up with them in 2010 at Bar 4. I remember you said write that down, and I was like, I did.
Yeah.
No, but there's some times where you're over there and you're all laughing at, and it's like, what are we laughing? Oh yeah, it's the British accent. Even you guys are laughing at it.
Yeah.
Like it's just a fun, whimsical sound.
Yeah.
It's true, because even their slang, like, sounds, we can't really do it in our accent. Like,
Yeah.
wanker sounds really dumb
Yeah.
with the
Yeah,
hard
they
R,
nail
but like
certain words.
their
Yeah.
slang is,
Wanker.
but it's funny. They're even like when they get angry, their slang is funny.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
Yeah. That's got to, I mean, otherwise they could just drop it. They
Yeah.
could just stop.
Yeah, every British person I've heard do an American accent, I'm like, it's usually like a Southern, a Texas accent,
Yeah.
or like a California accent. But it's usually pretty good.
Yeah.
Whereas like most Americans who try to do a
Oh,
British
yeah, no,
accent,
we
it's like,
can't.
oh yeah, that sucks.
You know what it is? Our accents make sense. That, like, I was just in the South
Yeah.
on vacation, like
Yeah.
in Savannah, and it's like, this isn't a hard thing to figure out, but it's like,
Oh, yeah.
people talk slow because it's fucking 100 degrees,
Yes.
and the humidity's 100%.
Louisiana's a garbage state.
But they got good spicy po' boys.
But they got their good po' boys. and they
I
got-
had like a legit po' boy there,
Oh yeah, that's
and
that's
it fucking was spicy.
legit
In
po'
New Orleans or
New Orleans.
elsewhere?
Yeah, in New Orleans.
You don't fucking get.
And I had a baguette or
real-
whatever. That's a fucking zeppoli.
Yeah,
Same
you-
shit. What's
you
it
don't-
called?
what?
Beignet?
a beignet.
Beignet.
You can't get real po' boys. That's the one thing nowhere outside of New Orleans has managed to crack. Is like everywhere that's like, we do legit po' boys. It's like, you don't. It's all about the bread. There's a place here in Brooklyn called the Gumbo Brothers, where the guys are from New Orleans. And even their po' boys, I'm sorry to say, they don't use the real po' boy bread.
Yeah.
They just can't. They can't ship it up here fast enough.
Weird.
So it's just like the bread is everything, and they end up using hoagie bread. And same thing with catfish.
Yeah.
Here, and, another one that's like New Orleans guys. It's like the po' boy they serve is like, it's not the bread.
Right.
And if you don't have the bread, you don't have the fucking thing. It's all about. I know the ingredients are good, but the French bread, the best way to describe it is like, imagine a pastry shell that got its shit together.
Right.
You know, it's just a more formed. But it's like flaky and it like dissolves when you. Oh, I gotta.
The French crush. The French just crush every
Oh my God, yes.
subtle detail. They
Yeah.
crush.
Yeah.
They just fucking crush it.
Especially when it's like subtle details of just being arrogant.
Oh
Just
yeah.
subtle
Oh
details.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Well, this isn't a story I was gonna tell, but I gotta tell. This is my favorite French thing that's ever happened.
Oh,
to me.
okay. What?
I was with my friend Jesse Scatore. I don't know if you know him, but
Yeah, I know, Jesse.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
so we went late after. You know, we were editing something late. We went to this place called Bar to Back, right? It's
Oh, yeah.
on you know,
In
it's
Park
Smith
Slope.
Street. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's on in the Carroll Gardens.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So this is a couple years ago, right? Like they've been around for a while. I don't know. So we go there, right? And I had just had like a what was it Chimay? What the fuck?
Chimay?
No, yeah.
I'm picturing this place now.
Duval.
It's like
Duval.
orange.
The drink.
Yeah.
Duval.
Yeah.
Right. Duval. And I had one. It was delicious. You know, it was the first time having like one of those beers.
Yeah.
So we go there, and I'm like, I wanted one, right? So I'm like, do you guys have Duval? The bartender was French.
Uh-huh.
She was a French bitch.
Yeah.
She was French, like
Yeah.
from France.
Yeah.
Right. So I go, can I get a Duval? And she goes, quoi? And I go, Duval, the beer, Duval.
Yeah.
She goes, quoi? This went on, like, and then Jesse was coming in, like,
Yeah.
it's like a beer. Like, we were just explaining it
Yeah.
like American morons.
Yeah.
Like, Duval.
Yeah.
And she goes, after about, I swear on my mother's fucking life, I'm talking about 3 minutes.
Yeah.
3 full minutes.
Yeah.
She goes, oh, with an accent.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean Duvel?
What?
Yeah. And then she went and she got us 2 fucking Duvels.
Yeah.
She went, you mean Duvel?
Instead of Duval.
Yeah. So she was basically punishing us
Yeah.
for pronouncing it wrong in my country.
Yeah.
In my fucking country.
That's when you go, can I get 8 of those? And as she's popping
No,
them,
that's
you
when you
walk
root,
out.
that's when you
walk out.
retrospectively root for the Nazis a little bit and be like, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't have gone in and helped you guys. Maybe they had a right idea just when it came to your country.
Duvel.
When we came back and carved things up, maybe we should have just let them incorporate you. And then maybe I would have got my fucking Duval when I asked for it. That was a true thing that happened.
That's fucking
Yeah, they
funny.
can be little bitches.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
but
Wait.
the food is great.
Speaking
Yes.
of which, so Giannis, can you tell us a tale in just 5 words? I'm gonna write it down. That's why I'm.
I like this. It's like a game.
Yeah.
Nice drinking game. Okay,
Do
ready?
it. Do it. Yeah.
Tree,
Yes.
girlfriend's family,
Girlfriend's family.
Cool.
surprise,
Ooh, this is already shaping up to be a classic.
scared,
Scared.
Is that 5? Yeah.
No.
4, right?
Yeah.
No?
Girlfriend's family.
So,
is one.
yeah. Sorry.
trick.
Trick.
I didn't want to make it too easy, right? Is that
No.
the
We
point?
never guessed the story.
We never
Oh, okay.
guessed
Because
So
it's
I could have even.
impossible.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, then maybe I shouldn't have made
No,
it.
no, no.
Because I picked
We'll have
like.
fun with this.
Yeah.
Tree, girlfriend's family, surprise, scared, trick.
Trick.
You want me to start?
Yeah.
Okay. Thinking Yannis Pappas, Tree. Knowing you, growing up of Greek heritage, right? You have a lot of respect for trees, which growing up so close to Park Slope, bing, 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 bing. What a place of worship. So Giannis, as a young boy, not even a young man, would while all his friends were kicking it around Park Slope, getting involved with dope dealings and skateboarding and being Mets fans, Giannis would go into the park every day and just sort of reflect, surrounded by all these trees.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
then when your girlfriend's family comes into town to meet you for the first time, which is always a really stressful experience because you really want to impress them,
Right.
and families can be dysfunctional. So you can feel there's starting to be tension brewing, and you're like, you know what? Let's go to my favorite place and show them around, calm everyone down. The air from the trees in Prospect Park really just let them breathe in that oxygen.
But then, of course, being the trickster that you are, you walk them a little thick into the park, and there's some thick wooded areas. You're like, you know what I'm gonna do? Just to have a little fun. I'm gonna walk them in here and then disappear. And then that's what you did. You walk in, they're like, "Well, Giannis, this is beautiful. So are we still in Brooklyn?" They turn around, you're gone. You're hiding. They don't know. You know the area. You know it well.
Yeah.
But you're hiding. You're like, I'm gonna jump out and surprise them at any moment, right? And they're like, Giannis, and even your girlfriend's like, Giannis. And it's like,
Yeah.
what happened to Giannis? It's like, I'm gonna get him good. This is gonna be fun. And then
Well, here's the problem:
Yeah.
is that there are some areas in Prospect Park where people go trolling for sex,
that's
and
true.
so as you were hiding, they kind of wandered a little farther than you wanted them to,
Right.
and they were scared because they ran into a guy that was kind of flashing people going into the dogging bush area. So you were like, oh, I'm gonna surprise them. They're gonna be scared. It's gonna be really funny, and instead they were actually scared because there was suddenly a random man's penis in front of them.
And it turns out right then and there, your girlfriend's dad, having never been to Brooklyn before, and seeing another grown man's penis for the first time, just dropped to his knees and just turned trick, on that sucker right there.
Are you
Starts
psychic?
slobbing away, and it kind of destroyed the family.
It
You know,
did.
the mom and daughter kind of ran off. As she said, Giannis, this is the worst birthday present ever. The girlfriend, as she ran away, because meeting her parents was the birthday present.
Yeah.
So in
But
essence-
as it turned out, it's okay because that girlfriend was just a girlfriend. Now you have your wife, and you never would have known how that relationship would have
And
been.
now that guy and that father, we all know as Wayne Rada.
Inside joke. Yeah.
Little inside joke for Giannis and I. But that was the story Giannis just shared about the time
Yeah.
he took his girlfriend's family into Prospect Park to be calm amongst his favorite trees and decided to play a little joke on him, which ended up instead playing a joke on her father's denial.
Yep.
It just shows you that imagination is so much better than reality. I mean, given the choice between art and life, I'm taking art 100% of the time. That's why I think we need art, because life is shitty. It's boring and mundane and just... I wish that was the story.
Oh my God. Yeah. what's
It's
the
not
real
even
story?
close to as fun and fascinating as that, and it doesn't have Wayne Rada in it at all. So,
Yeah.
it was Christmas Eve
Yeah. Okay.
by the Christmas tree.
Ah.
Yeah, that was Christmas
In
tree.
Madison.
No, in Long Island.
There's a Long Island Christmas tree?
It was a Christmas tree in a house in Long
Oh,
Island.
okay. Yeah.
So it was on Christmas Eve in my girlfriend's parents' house with her family.
Right.
Christmas Eve by the Christmas tree. I surprised my girlfriend at the time, and tricked her with an engagement ring. I was really scared to do it, but I proposed to her.
Right.
Yeah, and that's my story.
Did it work?
It did work. It did work. It was perfect.
Wait, is this your current wife?
My current wife.
Oh my
yeah.
God! Yay!
Yeah, it's my current wife. So it was
Okay, that's like a good.
Yeah, I thought.
I
you were
prefer your
saying-
story.
No, I love that story. I thought you were saying that you were surprised by like pretending to engage in like do an engagement, but not actually. Like it was just a trick ring.
Well, I tricked her by what I did was I got her a gift, and so she was opening the gift, and
Yeah.
it was like a purse, and so she was opening, and you could tell she was like looking to see because she thought it might go down.
Yeah.
But as she was looking for it, I pulled out the fucking thing. Oh no! First she looked through it, and then I could tell she was a little disappointed. I said, "Oh, you forgot the card. I forgot to give you the card. You read the card." She opened the card. She even like opened it and kind of like I could tell maybe she was like, "It's in there," you know.
Yeah.
And then she read it, and while she's reading it, it says, "Will you marry me?" But while she's looking at reading it, boom! I pulled it out, and I was like eye level because she was on the floor, and I was sitting on the thing. So she read it kind of and looked. As she looked up, the ring was boom right there. So it was like,
That's
"Will you marry me?" Boom, and it just worked.
Yeah.
One of those things that probably should have went wrong, but it didn't. It went perfect.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck yeah, nailed it.
yeah.
My whole problem with situations like that, what I would do the exact.
I would have much
setup.
rather it for Dad sucks Wayne Rader's dick though, in the middle of Prospect Park, by my favorite beautiful trees.
that I go to for comfort. See, my problem in that exact situation would be like, all right, I'm gonna set it up. The ring's not gonna be in there. She's gonna be slightly disappointed. I'm gonna ask why. She's gonna say nothing. I'm going to pick a fight to get her to storm out. But the moment she opens the door, there's just a puppy with a ring on its head. Like, will you like, see, I had to piss you off.
And like a Hollywood trainer keeping the dog there.
Yeah. Hopefully, forget about the part like, what if the dog has wandered off and some homeless guy's like, there is a guy.
Babe, no, look, there's a dog. There's a fucking ring in its head. We gotta go find it.
Yeah.
No, but the reason why I thought it's a good story is not because of that part. That's what happened. That's why I picked those words. But I'm a comic.
Right.
Well, I really realized what a comedian is made of on that day because we hate authority.
Yeah.
We hate structure.
Yeah.
We don't want anyone to tell us what to do.
Yeah.
We want to be completely free, and we never want to grow up. So if you have if you're a true comic, you became this because it was a calling. Though I think those are qualities that every comedian shares in common.
Sure.
Because I felt them all on that day, right? Because here I am about to do this grown-up thing that she wanted. That I'm like, fuck, I don't want to do that. And the day I felt it all, and I remember going like, I remember having a real thought and an urge that like I was just like. Because the whole time they're like, "Is anything wrong?" And I just couldn't enjoy Christmas Eve because I was so stressed out about this.
Yeah.
And I was mad at her because I remember her telling me like she wanted me to do it in front of her family, and I'm like, I'm not doing it in front of her fucking family. So I was mad about that, right? So I waited for them to leave to do it. But anyway, I had this thought where I'm going like, I'm gonna go outside, say that I need some air, and I'm gonna get in my car, and I'm going to drive like Thelma and Louise as far away as it was like a real thought that I had.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't even a joke. I was like, I want to get at it. I got to get at it. I want to get out of it.
Yeah.
And then once I did it, it was fine. So it was this moment where I realized like we're chill. We're like fucking scared little. You can't say the word anymore, but we're.
I mean, yeah.
Like, can you bleep that out or whatever?
If you
Yeah,
change,
I'll bleep it.
if you change,
I don't mean it like sexuality.
No, I
mean,
know.
like, yeah.
But no, I know what you mean. Like if you just change the meaning, it's like, hey, let's change the meaning for having anything to do with gay people.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with that.
Into being like, oh, it's being a
It
scared
means
little
a pussy.
comic.
But see, you can't even say that. Or,
Yeah.
you
My
know.
pussy is offended.
Or a little bitch.
I
Can't
mean,
even say
yeah,
that.
it's like
yeah.
sometimes words develop
Yeah.
other meanings. Like
Yeah.
nobody gets upset about cocksucker anymore. I could yell that at everyone out my car with gay people in my car,
Yeah.
and they'd be like, "He was fucking cut you off. He did cut you off." And it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, that used to mean faggot,
Yeah.
but now it's like
Yeah.
now it's just something you scream when someone cuts you off in traffic. You
And
know?
they all,
There are some gay people that would be like, I do that, and then I'm offended that you're using it in
yeah,
that way.
well, I'd be like, most people do, you could get away with cocksucker. Like cocksucker's off the radar.
Yeah.
you could. This guy's a fucking cocksucker. You
I
could say
have-
that.
yeah.
you could say that on MTV. I'm sure.
I mean, we all know enough gay people to where it's like, oh yeah, I've heard gay people say way worse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but it's also like, yeah, fucking.
Well, what is the word? We haven't come up with a new one.
We haven't.
Yeah, so what is it? So
Wuss.
what are you supposed to say? Like if you act like you're acting like a pussy, but then that's not good because
No.
you're saying women, you're saying pussy's weak. So we got to come up with a new one.
You gotta say it's gotta be a word that's like phonetically pleasing
Yeah,
to
I
like
know.
yo fucking saxophone. Saxophone, Zaxophobia,
Yeah.
Zaxaflick,
Yeah, that word has a good it's agate. It's just
Yeah.
kind of
Zaxaquack, Zaxaquack.
Yeah, I mean, we have no word for it,
Yeah.
which I find fascinating that we've been asked to remove it, but nobody's given one to replace it.
Don't worry,
Yeah.
soon the Germans will invent one.
I was acting like what is it?
It's like a
If you had to
wimp
put a
or
word
like,
there.
see, the first thing that came to mind
Bitch
was
is the
honestly,
one I'd use.
Yeah,
no,
but you did, then you're making fun of women.
Yeah.
no, it was honestly limp dick was the first word
Limp
that came
dick.
to my mind. But then,
But
I'm
then you're
sure there
making
are
fun-
people that have erectile dysfunction.
Yeah, and that's rude to make fun of them. Yeah.
And you're not, and yeah,
It's wimp, but it's a more fun
Wimp.
way to say it.
Wimp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What,
I was
Giannis-
acting like a wimp. I'm sorry I used that word before. I meant it as wimp.
when we're in our 60s
Yeah.
and people finally let go of any sort of policing of words and they all start coming back, we'll be able to be those old men who are like, I told you were a little bitch.
Yeah.
Fuck you, fag.
And you're going to be like, it was because of me on a podcast that I fucking...
Well,
you
now
kids
that
can walk
podcasts-
around and express yourself.
Now that podcasts and words are taking people down or whatever world that we're living in, honestly, anyone that is listening to this at some point, what is the word though? Give
What
us
is
the
the word?
word and
Yeah.
then that's okay.
In fact, give us 5.
Yeah.
Give us,
Because
yeah,
it's the
give us
title of our
5
show.
examples.
Give us
Give
5 words
words.
we could use.
5 words you could put in there, and then they'll figure out what you're
Honestly
trying to be.
hilarious. Yeah.
Wait, Giannis, where are you at? YannisPappas.com?
YannisPappasComedy.com.
Yeah.
And I have a podcast called History Hyenas.
History Hyenas with the Chrissy D.
with Krista
Yeah.
Stefano.
Judge Chrissy D.
Yeah, so check that out.
Yeah, check it out, please. Giannis is one of my favorites. Honestly, one of my favorites.
This was really
a
fun.
pure. You know what? You know who you're like? You're like Dickie Betts. You know who that is?
No.
The lead guitarist of the Allman Brothers, right?
Yeah.
Was one of the greatest lead guitarists of all time. Couldn't read sheet music.
Right.
So he just played.
Right.
And the rest of the band had to write down what he was playing.
Right.
Because it was like, what was that? He's like, I don't fucking know. I just do this.
Right, right.
Beely, 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 beely. He blew people's minds. That's what you're like.
Wait, what do you do?
Beely, 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 beely. You're like that guy. You just go out there, you get on stage, and it's just like raw connection to some comedic fucking next levelness.
Yeah.
And you get off stage and like, yes, did you write any of that down? You're like, nah.
Well,
I'll
you know,
remember it.
you're
I'll remember it.
You're similar.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate the compliment. I don't think it's that, but you're one of the most amazing comics, and always have been one of my favorite. And you know what? This is the way I look at him. Is like he'll do like 10 hilarious things in a row, right? And it's just all new shit. You're like, I've never heard that before. And then you can see him going like, not good enough, not good enough, not good enough, not good enough. And then he'll fucking struggle with something for a little while, and then he'll do something where you're going like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
It's like a triple backflip, like Greg Louganis, no splash, with a nice fucking smooth body, looking good in his Speedo,
Yeah.
just fucking bang. And you're going like, all the judges are going like 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. And then he'll never tell it ever again.
That's
You had to be there that one night, that one fucking night where he
Yeah.
decided like he felt like telling it, and then it's just over, and then he's gonna go search for another triple backflip that'll kill most people.
This is the pot calling the kettle black, but then realizing that it's calling the kettle black because it's a reflection, like right? Because that's what that saying is. The pot is black and looking into the kettle and being like, kettle, you're black.
No, but it's not though, because
But-
I
But wait,
No.
but then it's like
just got to take the
But
compliment.
I am.
goddammit.
But then here's a double compliment.
Yeah.
There's the pot calling the kettle black, but then realizing it's a reflective surface and going, well, if that's a mirror, I should do some cocaine off it, and then doing some fucking blow and having a conversation with the kettle and being like, kettle, you and me are one. I'm sorry I ever fucking thought anything different, and then looking over at like a frying pan, wanting to be like, I'm in too, guys, right? Like, you don't know anything, you bitch, and then pushing the pan off the stove and being like, this is kettle pot turf.
Yeah, the only thing
Nah.
I could do is like sometimes I'll get on a roll, I think, where it's like my brain's analogous, I think, or something like that, and I'll go down that lane. But if you ever heard me try to tell a story, it's like an abomination. I did like
Really?
Ari's show once, and I was just like, I apologized after the show. I was like, I'm sorry. Like I just can't tell a fucking story. and where you can tell a story.
Well, thanks.
I remember that one, the roofie one.
Yeah.
That
Roofie one's
shit
so
is
good.
so fucking good.
I still have not told that one on.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Ari's new thing to happen so I can tell him on that.
That's a fucking
But
great
thank
story.
you.
My stories are always like, yeah, so I proposed to my girlfriend. You know, I was a little scared. Her family was there, so I was angry, and then I just did it. Okay?
I mean, hey, that's a great. Look,
Should I submit that to What's Happening Now or whatever the name of the fucking show?
There it is. Hey Ari, change the show to What's Happening Now, and you have to host in blackface.
He'd do it. Yeah. Fucking.
Oh man. Oh yeah. Go see Yannis. Go see Yannis live.
Actually, this is coming out like right away. Are you doing anything that you want?
Oh,
to
yeah. Well, we're doing our History Hyenas live podcast for the New York Comedy Festival, Gramercy Theater. If it's coming out tomorrow, there may be tickets. I know a lot of them are sold, but get tickets for that. You can go to follow me on, Instagram, whatever. It'll be posted.
Go see these two together. Seeing Yannis and Chris in one platform. It's like when Method Man and Redman released that album together. And you're like, why haven't these fucking guys been doing this whole time?
Yeah.
You know?
We have a good time.
No,
It's
you
fun.
guys are fucking great together.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. So check them out.
Yeah.
One of the best. Yanni Pops. That's the way Chris would say it. Chrissy D. YannisPappasComedy.com.
Cool.
Later.
All right. Bye.